Okay, so you know the people who can literally talk to anybody. They could talk to a brick wall, but they're so confident. Everything they say is captivating. People just like gravitate towards them. It is really easy to make yourself that person the second you accept nobody's born that person. It takes work and it takes gaslighting yourself and changing your habits. I'm about to tell you every little thing you are going to need to have the confidence and the ability to speak to anyone to maximize your life in the most like simple, straightforward way possible. I'm a personal expert, a yap coach, if you will. Hi. Yes, I'm holding my mic today because it kind of makes me feel like Britney Spears. Bad time to be Justin Timberlake. And if you're new to my channel, my goal is to help you thrive in your 9 to 5 and beyond. So we talk everything careers, confidence, making more money, and feeling like the badass you are. So it's no surprise that human connection is one of the most critical parts of the human experience. It's how we experience community, friendships, relationships. It's also how we get ahead from a financial and survival perspective. Back in the days of cavemen, community and connection meant that we were able to survive and share resources and raise children and make it through the winter. I think I'm describing season 1 of Game of Thrones. But in 2024, the way that you build community, connection, and network to get ahead is through small talk and having that initial conversation. So whether you're looking to get ahead romantically with friends or financially, you need to be able to start having these conversations or at least participate in them if you want to get those things. None of this is going to work if you walk into conversations with expectations. That's how you're going to get so in your head that you're not actually going to be yourself, or you're going to psych yourself out so badly that you literally can't physically start the conversation. You are literally done putting people on pedestals. I can tell you that right now, because when you put people on pedestals, you give them permission to look down on you. You actually force them to look down on you. Even if you have to trick your mind and it feels not real, you need to tell yourself that everybody you are in rooms with is your equal, both the CEO and the intern. When you operate as if every single person is your equal, the more senior you become, the more people will respect you for that, and that shows your leadership and humility, and the more confident you're going to be seen as by the more senior individuals in your work setting. Believe it or not, I used to be someone that was very easily embarrassed and extremely self-conscious. That's probably another video that I can make if you want, but one of the quotes or mindsets that really helped me feel more confident, especially when I was putting myself out there, initiating or having conversations with people I didn't know that well, was it's only embarrassing if I allow myself to feel embarrassed. You can't make me embarrassed without my permission.
Embarrassing.
So someone saying like, oh, Emily, that's so cringe. Oh, Emily, whatever. Like,
Okay.
if I just make the decision that it isn't cringe to me, it isn't embarrassing to me, it's not a big deal to me, then guess what? It isn't. Because perception is reality. Your perception is your reality, but the powerful thing in that is my perception is my reality. I do not need to subscribe to your view of me. Okay, let's go make coffee and then we'll keep talking. Am I the only person who kind of thinks all the espresso pods taste the exact same? So here's the thing, while I make a nice coffee in my messy, very small apartment, the thing is, in order to be able to talk to anybody and have the confidence to carry a conversation, you need to not hate your own life. Otherwise, you're gonna look at every single conversation like it's a chore. You basically need to have enough positive things going on in your life that you could carry a conversation. And I promise I'm gonna get into like tactically how to have these conversations and how to start them in a second. It's the best sound, listen to that. Show me to me, please. Show me to me Nespresso. Let's get ice. My advice, if you are in that place, is pause. You do not need to be ready to do everything all at once. Focus on getting your happiness in check, whether that's with therapy, with online support, talking to a friend. Make sure you're pouring love into you before you start pouring energy into all of these different activities. Let's see if that trick from TikTok really works, where if you put a metal fork into the ice cubes, the coffee won't melt as quickly. I'm gonna let that sit for a second. People do genuinely remember you for how you make them feel, and you want to make sure the sentiment they walk away with is that of positivity. And that only works when we are in a positive enough space with ourselves. Maple syrup. I've never done this before, if I'm being totally honest with you. Usually I put creamer in my coffee, but I don't have any. So we're just gonna go Canadian. Something else that I think is super important if you're ready to start having more networking and relationship building conversations personally and professionally is to stay on top of things that are happening in the world. Nervous. Oh, it's amazing. The hi, how are you is only going to last so long. You are eventually going to need to talk about a specific topic, and it's really easy to do that when you have common ground to speak on. Let's say your biggest focus is being able to talk to people in a more social setting because you want to make friends or maybe meet a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Pay attention to what's happening from a pop culture perspective. What big albums came out? What are the TV shows that are trending? What's trending on TikTok or Instagram? So that you have the opportunity to pull on some material. Hey, did you see this? Hey, did you see that? And suddenly you're able to start talking. If you're networking a little bit more in a professional setting, what's important to the people in your industry? So if you're working in finance,
I'm looking for a man in finance.
Obviously, people care about the stock market. It's important. People care about interest rates. Like, keep on top of those things so you can say, oh wow, did you see blah, 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 blah. Literally doing something as simple as checking BBC, like their website every day, or even looking at what's trending on the news reports on the side of LinkedIn is going to help you have much more intelligent and informed conversations and at least be aware of what people around you are talking about. So forget having a conversation with somebody else. You need to start by having a conversation with you because you deserve to take up space. You add value to conversation. You are not a person who observes the confident magnetic person. You are able to be the confident magnetic person so long as you believe that you are. It doesn't mean everybody needs to be an extrovert. It doesn't mean that every person needs to be like, showbiz, look at me. No. That's not what it means. It means you need to be authentic to you. And if you're more of a listener, amazing. Be the most attentive listener in the world. If you're more quiet, there's nothing wrong with that. You need to figure out what tone and style of communication feels the most you, and then give yourself permission to do that regularly, do it with audacity, and to proactively build these relationships. And none of this is gonna work until you believe that about yourself and you change the way you speak about and think about yourself. How the brain works is neural pathways. The more kind things you say to yourself, the more you believe it. Same goes for saying negative things. How do you initiate a conversation? Let's say you've identified someone and for whatever reason, you're like, I want to talk to them. There's someone I want to learn from, or there's someone I am interested in building some kind of a relationship with. Especially in professional settings, initiating the conversation is such a freaking power move because it puts you in control. It allows you to start and then end the conversation wherever it's appropriate. Disclaimer, before you start any conversations, be aware of your surroundings. Does this person give off signs that they're interested in a chat? Is their body language open? Is it more closed? Are they on the phone? Are they in the middle of a text?
Leave me alone, please. Get a life, get a proper job. I am horrified at what you've done.
It's not always a good time to start a conversation. But painting a picture, let's say you're at a networking event, you spot somebody, they're open, they're alone, you go up to that person and don't overthink it. You just say, hey, it's nice to meet you, I'm, insert your name. You're probably gonna shake hands. They're gonna say, oh, it's great to meet you, my name is blah, blah, blah. This is where I love having pre-planned questions that are topical based on the situation. I'm not even joking you, I keep a list on my phone of conversation starters that I memorize so that I can easily have these discussions whenever they pop up. Because 9 out of 10 people are genuinely very scared to initiate conversations and to speak to strangers. So if you can be that one person out of 10 by using these tricks, you're really going to stand out and you might build amazing relationships and have amazing career progression because of it. If you're at a networking event, the question can be as simple as, I was just looking at your name tag. I couldn't make out what company you're from. What organization are you working with? Literally the perfect formula for being able to talk to anybody is just coming prepared with 3 to 5 really thoughtful, open-ended questions where it would be easy for that individual to ask you those questions back that are very topical to where you are going to be. The true gift and talent of being able to talk to anybody is empowering people to talk about themselves. Psychology studies show us that people tend to like individuals that ask them questions about themselves. We all love talking about ourselves. You don't need to go into a convo and be like, look at this, look at everything I'm bringing. No, you don't need to do that. The whole point is empowering people to share. And then they'll ask you questions and you get to share. And then you get this beautiful kind of sexy back and forth that's nice and easy that you don't have to overthink. So don't feel like you need to dominate the conversation. What you need to do is dominate the listening and have questions prepared and allow the other person to share. You know how some dogs at the dog park meet, they sniff each other's butts and they go, no, not you, Labradoodle. People do that too. Sometimes you just don't click. Doesn't make anyone a bad person, doesn't mean you did anything wrong. The conversation is just not gelling. Maybe you're asking questions, they're not giving you the shit back. They're not giving you those questions back. It's okay to tap out. When you feel the conversation is dying, by the way, good sign the convo is dying is when they're not asking you those questions back and you have run out of authentic questions. If that's not happening, I think it's okay to lie. I do. Just a small lie, a white lie, where you say something like, oh, it was amazing catching up. I just wanted to pop by. I have a couple other folks I want to say hi to, but I'll circle back by the end of the night. Done. My biggest tip for not overthinking these conversations is just take it one sentence at a time. Put all of your effort into listening intently to what that person is saying, because they're literally feeding you in their answer what your next conversation or response can be. Dude, it is so much more important to be interested than it is to be interesting. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, baby. Make sure your goal in the conversation is for that person to walk away feeling really validated, feeling really seen. If they're sharing something with you, make sure your body language is open. Make sure you are actively listening by smiling. When you ask questions, make sure it's building off of what they've already shared. Like, really be present. Make your focus on making that other person feel very comforted and very seen. And this is especially true if you're someone who's awkward or nervous when it comes to talking to people, because instead of you focusing on, okay, I need to stay calm, I need to say the right thing, I need to be seen as cool, you're actually pouring all of that same energy into making sure the other person feels comforted. And by extension, you're almost saying like, no, I got this. Let me make them feel comfortable. They need me. And it's going to really help your confidence, and it's going to make them have a really positive impression of you in the conversation and really make them feel good. And most importantly, if this is somebody that you want to continue connecting with, especially in a professional setting, after the conversation, take your ass to the bathroom, write notes. Yeah, what did they tell you? What did you talk about? So the next time you see them, you can say, oh, Bob, how was the pool with the kids? Susie, how was this? You have all of the ammo to continue the conversation. If your goal is to make this person your mentor, maybe have them refer you for a job or be your next boss, before you exit the conversation, just ask them, how could we stay in touch? And take their contact info, follow up with them a couple days later, ask to book a coffee chat, ask to do something, ask to, go for a walk during lunch. Remember that the most important conversation you are ever going to have is the one that you have with yourself, and you are an interesting, insightful, and fantastically empathetic person who deserves to be in every single room that you walk into. So cut the self-doubt, cut the negative self-talk, go in there and you add value to every single person you meet. So do not forget that. I'm so happy you clicked on this video. Let me know if you liked it. It was a little chaotic, but I think all the good stuff in life is.